their watcher. So I'm going to carry on. I've done the plug for consultants. Become a consultant with Pampered Chef, make some extra money, load your kitchen up with Pampered Chef stuff. Be a host. It's a super easy way to do an online party and get lots of gear. I'm going to get into the gear. I'm just going to give you a little tour of what I have here. I've got the stainless steel strainer set, one of the smallest of the strainer set. These are 7 years old, no rust. They're great for pasta, rinsing veggies, all that kind of stuff. We've got a measuring spoon set. They all fit in and lock together, which is super nice. The kitchen shears are some of my favorites. These go out into the garden with me. They go in the dishwasher. They're lovely and sharp still, and again, are 7 years old. Got the bamboo wooden spoon set. This is the smallest. It's great for little kids. This is the one I give to Joelle when she's mixing the muffins because it's got a short handle, which is really nice. Adjustable measuring spoon, so I can, with 2 spoons, I can go from 1 tablespoon down to 1 teaspoon with the big one, and 1 teaspoon down to 1/8 of a teaspoon with the little one. So that's super handy. I got the stainless steel bowl. It's the smallest in the bowl set with a silicone bottom and the silicone ringed handle, and the silicone lid is over here. Tight fitting, excellent product. I use these things all the time for bread, baking, taking pasta salad to a potluck. You name it. Those things get used all the time in my kitchen. I got the scoop and scrape, which is exciting, and I'll show you later how you can just scoop away a product like from one bowl. Like if you're going to scoop it from the stainless steel bowl into a serving bowl, you can just get every last bit out of that bowl, which is really nice. And it is also a spoon. The shape of it is a cupped spoon, so that's a really handy dandy little unit. We got the large grooved cutting board that I'm currently using because chopping tomatoes is a wet job, so it's nice to have the moat around the outside. This nylon cutting board has got silicone around the edges that stop it from slipping. It's great for a big old turkey, anything. I've got the 5-inch Sanduko knife. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Sanduko. This is such a great versatile knife. It's super small, but it's shaped like a chef's knife, so it's really up to a whole lot of tasks. My husband tells me it's the one that he sharpens most in my kitchen because I pretty much use it like 75% of the time. I peel apples with this thing, slice cucumbers. It's got the divots on the side so that the slices of cheese or cucumbers fall nicely away. It's a great product. I've got also the honing tool for sharpening it. If you order Pampered Chef knife set, you get this honing tool, which is very safe and lovely to use for the quick sharpen. And all the sharps come with guards, which is really nice for when you're putting them away in the cupboard, in the drawer. You're not going to get cut. Anything that's sharp coming out of Pampered Chef comes with a really nice high quality guard. And I think that covers all the little nifty tools here, and I can get into my pico de gallo recipe. I'm going to be posting the recipes on the page afterwards. And again, any recipe it's up to your taste. I'm going to discuss that as I go through. If you like cilantro or you don't, adjust the recipe to how you like it. I love tinkering with recipes. It's hard for me not to tinker with recipes. Honestly, it's actually sometimes hard for me to just read a recipe from the internet and not change anything. Also because in this day and age, with what's going on with the pandemic, I don't want to run out to the grocery store because I need that kind of vinegar instead of that. So I substitute because it's what I've got, and it's always an adventure that way. So we're going to start the pico de gallo with three Roma tomatoes, nice and ripe if possible, cut into as small of a dice as you can get. So I like to slice them half lengthways so they lay nicely on the cutting board, and then cut them lengthways into strips, and then cut as small as I can the slices so you end up with a nice dice. I was planning to have my manual food processor for this demo, and Canada Post didn't deliver. I forgive them because I know how hard they're all working right now and they're overloaded. And so that's just the reality of these times. And so here we are, just going to use this knife. Instead, if you're following a show next week, I'm going to have it and I'm going to demo it. So it's a reason to host a show next week, just so you know, if anybody's on the fence about that. Just moving this over into my stainless steel mixing bowl. And then I'm going to chop my pepper. And so I got like a 3-inch serrano pepper, depending on how spicy you like. You could use jalapeno. I'm not a total chili knowledgeable person, but you know, the more chili, the spicier it is. Also, if you're going to keep the pit and the seeds in, that'll make it spicier. So if you want a little more mild, you can use a spoon and just sort of scrape the stuff out of the middle of the pepper without getting it under your fingernails and burning your baby later. Always nice. Scoop that out of there and move it over to the side. The grooves on the large cutting board are also nice for all your kitchen detritus as you're chopping. So I'm just chopping this chili up quickly. Now, garlic. Fresh is always best when it comes to garlic. I like using fresh garlic in my pico de gallo if I have time. I do have a garlic press. It's not a Pampered Chef one. It's like 5 different pieces. It's pretty good, but for doing 1 clove of garlic, I just rather use a knife. So I just lay the clove of garlic on the cutting board, skin and everything, lay the knife on it and give it a smack. And you give it a smack and the skin comes away and the clove itself is kind of broken up already, which makes, of course, the chopping, stick into my hand, makes the chopping a whole lot easier. So, chop that up as small as you can and scoop that in the bowl. Again, if you're doing it with a manual food processor, you would want to start with the finest ingredient first. So the garlic would go in first, then the onion, because that takes a little longer to break down. Then you would add the tomato and the cilantro and the liquids. But kind of in that order, with the hardest to chop first, going to the easiest to chop. So, and then I'm going to be adding half a cup of red onion. I like red onion. White onion is fine. Red onion has a little bit more sweetness to it, but white onion is also lovely. Half a cup of that. And then I'm going to go to my liquids. I'm putting a teaspoon of red wine vinegar. I just kind of like the sweet tartness of that, sweet acidity of that. I'm putting 1 tablespoon, I think 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of lime juice. I'm going to go a little more than that. I put 1 tablespoon on the recipe, but I feel like I need a little more lime. I'm putting 1 tablespoon of ground cumin.
Mama, it's so quiet.
And half a teaspoon of salt. This is nice Vancouver Island sea salt that smells like the ocean. It's amazing. We get good quality products make yummier food. When we go for nice salt, it's a nice investment. I put a teaspoon of sugar. I find anything that has tomatoes in it needs a little sugar, like even spaghetti sauce, I put it in. And then I'm going to stir a little bit of olive oil just to kind of help emulsify some of those ingredients, some pepper. And last but not least, my cilantro. So I put 1/3 of a cup in the recipe. And I'm going to use my kitchen shears just to kind of get the biggest stems out of there. I don't mind a little bit of stem in my cilantro, but I like to kind of get the biggest, woodiest ones out of there. You know. So there we go. Sort of the main stems, and then I'm gonna give it a nice chop. You can chop your cilantro as fine or as chunky as you like. If you're a real cilantro fan and you want to have the crunch of those leaves, then going a little thicker or bigger is probably better. I like medium. So I'm going to put that in there. It's about 1/3 of a cup. And just make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope, I'm going to give it a little stir with my bamboo paddle and come show you. Look at that. Delicious. And it's really best if you let it sit to let all those flavors marinate and mingle. If you can give it half an hour, that is lovely. So I'm just going to put this back over here and then quickly make some guacamole. Guacamole was definitely the win on the poll there on our Facebook page, our group page. I saw some mentions at Pico de Gallo, but it would seem that guacamole is king. Not so surprisingly. So the way I like to pit an avocado, I know that Pampered Chef has a tool. They have an avocado knife. I mean, hey, if you want the avocado knife, more power to you. It's a useful thing. I don't tend to like gadgets that only do one thing. I like things to do lots of things. So I take the avocado and I cut it lengthways to expose the pit, pull away 1/2. So I've got 1/2 with the pit, and then I just knock the knife into the pit and twist, and it just comes away really easily. That's how I do it. So I'm just gonna scoop these into the bowl. Can always give the outer skin just a little squeeze, and if they're really ripe, they just pop right out of there. There we go. And I would have also had my mix and chop that I would have used to make this guacamole, because the mix and chop would be perfect for that. I'm going to use a good old-fashioned fork. It's not highly technical, but hey, it works in a pinch. So, and again, if you're seeing any demos and any parties next week, or want to have a party, and I will definitely be demoing those. I'm really excited about my mix and chop coming. I'm excited to break up ground beef as I'm making spaghetti sauce and mashed potatoes, and I'm ready to let go of my potato masher from my cutlery drawer. I tell you, I'm putting some hot sauce. Put as much as you like. If you like it really spicy, put lots. If you don't, just put a little or none. 2 teaspoons of minced red onion. I'm going to put some powdered garlic, just for the interest of time. Fresh is best, but powdered garlic's pretty good. And I'm putting, how much am I putting? 1/2 teaspoon of that. And I'm putting 2 tablespoons of sour cream. I just find I like the added creaminess of the sour cream. There we go. And I'm putting 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Making a nice mess here now. Yes. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Lime juice. I'm cheating right now and using the stuff from concentrate. Fresh lime is always better. So I'm going to put, I'm putting 1 teaspoon. I'm going to put 1.5 teaspoons. I think it needs a little more. Some pepper. Ground pepper is always better. Just fresh. And I'm going to give it a mix with my scoop and scrape and then show you over here this lovely deliciousness. There is nothing like a bowl of guacamole with some chippies. Tonight we are having nachos. We have some marinated dry rub chicken that we're going to barbecue and put them on nachos. My husband is a nacho aficionado, so he's on the nachos. I don't interrupt him because that is not a good idea if I want the nachos and good time. And then we dip them in pico de gallo and guacamole and sour cream and usually watch a movie. That's usually what we do for nacho night. So I'm going to taste that. Give it a little taste. Oh yeah. I wish you were all here to, both of you, to enjoy with me. It'll be fun to get to do some real live parties once the pandemic is over. But in the meantime, this is pretty nice. And the pico. That's been sitting. Give that a little taste. Oh yeah. And I'm excited to see how that manual food processor kind of breaks up the tomatoes in a kind of a bruised way, because that's actually kind of ideal for pico de gallo, if they're kind of almost mashed. So I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to turn out. Again, a reason to book a show. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate your support. Feel free to throw in a comment if you have any questions. I'm going to post the recipes up on the page here pretty soon. I really appreciate your support. In my first day doing demos, this is kind of cool. My family has been listening to this on the side, and so I'm sure I'll get some feedback from them about what they liked or didn't like. And I love your feedback. So enjoy the rest of Rena's show. Let's have fun. Let's celebrate food. That's where this is all about. And if you get a chance, check out my page, Come Cook with Ursula and Pampered Chef. Like it, share it. I'm trying to post there to keep that alive. And yeah, keep people interested in food, because I sure am. Thanks again. Take care, you guys. Bye.
Now we're going to go to chicken.